Happy Monday! Thanks for joining me for a craft night with friends. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for beginners, and I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday, and it's a time that we can relax and craft together. All right, tonight we are starting a new project. It is our lilac embroidery. This is our current embroidery of the month. We've got a cute little squirrel, and he's holding his little lilac frond there, flowering frond. And man, it's just past the lilac season here. I can still smell them. Our neighbors have some smaller ones that are still smelling great. But man, it's getting to be the end of them, so I'm excited to stitch this one up with you guys. So let's get going on it. Thanks again for joining. All right, hello. Hope all of you are doing well. Okay, let's shimmy on in here. All right, so this is our design for this month, for June, our little lilac embroidery. So I'll be unpacking that now, but I wanted to share, I don't know if you guys got our email, but we have new little minis that we just got done making. So we got it's a bunch of little farm animals. So we have the little piggy, the rooster, the sheep, and the cow. So check those out over in the shop, and we sent an email out about it today, but I'm so happy with these guys. They're so cute. Anyway, I had to share. And later this week, you guys, we got our needle minders back in stock. So probably by Wednesday, but make sure to sign up on the listing for this, like the reminder email, like remind me when it's available, because we may list them a little bit earlier. But we got 3 colorways. We got a red, a white version, and our original version that we had with the tan. So those are the new colors. I think they're so fun. Like the red, that one just pops. I think the white kind of goes with our design a little bit better. So we're gonna use the white today. Zoop, collect those needles. All right. All right, so let's get going. I'm excited to stitch this one. Gretchen says, wrap me up one, please. Ooh, and just on top of that, too, you guys, we're going to keep our deal for tonight. So order $20 or more in the shop tonight during the live, and I will throw in a mystery gift as well. All right, let's get going here, though. So this is the kit. We got all our fun colors here, and a little ribbon is like if you want to finish it off with a cute little bow or something when you're done. Maybe we'll have time to actually finish like the back of one of these. That would be kind of nice. Do a cute little hangy up one. All right, so I got my floss. I just have my little I have my little strawberry here tonight again. That's gonna just be my project tray for this project. I got my little garbage can for it that we'll use. So we got the hoop, floss, our little instruction booklet, like some embroidery best practices, and our instructions here. So this is what I'm going to kind of leave out here for myself. Hey, Julie, and that's what I'm going to look at for the colors to use, where, and then what stitches go where as well. Then there's some stitch instructions, but we'll go through all of those. And my fabric, it is like lightly printed on here. All right, and I got my needle. I have a pile of needles over here, but we'll use the new one. Okay. Boop. Let's get this guy in the hoop, and we can get started right away. Oh, Paula says I want the PDF patterns so I can make lambs and piglets to go with them. Oh, cute. Yeah, so we do have, here's the lamb and the piglet. We do have them as PDFs available as well, which is awesome because then you can put it on whatever you want and get them right away. Definitely a favorite of mine. Get those PDF patterns. I'm not going to worry about pressing this. We'll press the whole thing when we're done, and I just don't think we need to do that. So I'm putting it in my hoop. trying to figure out where I want to start with this. I kind of want to start, I don't know. I think maybe we'll start with the squirrel. That'll be like a nice, fun, easy thing to get done. So maybe the squirrel, then we can get some of the start of our like leaves and stem stitch, and then we can get on with all the little buds or the little flowers. I suppose, I don't know, in a lilac, are each one of these are all probably their own little buds in a I don't know, what's like a single poof? Like what's one of these poofs of bunches of lilac flowers all together? Because are all these like individual buds or individual flowers, and then you have like a collection of those flowers? Ooh, I'm gonna need to know the anatomy of the lilacs too after we're done this. We've just had a lot of anatomy lessons lately. Oh, Ashley, so you can do so many things. So anything you want decorated with stitches is a good finished thing for an embroidery. In this case, I'm going to just be making probably a little piece of wall art. But you can turn them into bags, pillows. Let's see, I don't think I have anything nearby. Oh, you can turn them into like... I like making little zipper pouches out of them. So just anything you can think of that would be fun with embroidery on, you can use it. I've turned these into patches before. They're not totally filled in when you do this as a patch, but you can just kind of applique it onto a piece, and that's kind of fun. All right. Oh, you cannot do, Squeezy says I cannot do Lazy Daisy stitches for the life of me. Ooh, we will definitely go over those. We could go over that a little bit tonight. I need a scissors. Let's grab a lilac. We'll grab our lilac scissors tonight. We got all the colors, but tonight we'll go with, ooh, I'm gonna drop them on the floor. Let's just sit them there. Go with the lilac. So, snip, I'm cutting about my 24 inches or so, and then this is gonna be done with, 3 strands. So I'm going to just kind of bop the end here. I think it's 3 strands. Oh yeah, use 3 strands. Oh yeah, blue jean shirts. Yes, exactly, Sylvia. So I have a blue jean shirt that I'm actively just keeping on adding embroidery and other little bits to it. Oh, T-Bird says, yeah, frame it, hand towels, shower curtains. Oh, fun, shower curtains. Yep, clothes, etc. Exactly. Exactly. All right, so I'm kind of speeding ahead here, but I am taking threads out of here one at a time, and I'm doing that by just I bop the top of it just to kind of isolate a strand. So here's one I can grab. So I'm just kind of pulling that single strand while I hold the thread in between my fingers there, and I'm just gonna pull it on out. It's gonna bunch up like crazy, but then once I get it out, it's just gonna release. I can run my hand through it. Then it's like new again. And I'm gonna just do one more. You can only do this one at a time, but it actually is really fast. Like that's how fast I can take them out. So this strand is 3 is ready for when we need our next group. And then I'm just gonna put them back together and we'll get started. I'm using 3 strands instead of the 6 strands that it comes with in each piece of embroidery floss. I'm using just the 3 strands so my line is thinner and it's easier to stitch. Oh, and let's get our, you know how I like to use needle minders? So this is a needle minder. It's basically, it can be anything really. This is just like a pin, basically. And it has magnets on the back. So the idea is you can, let's put it like maybe right here. You can have it attached to your piece, and then whenever you are not stitching, you just toss your needle at it, and you won't ever lose your needle, which I do a lot on my surface here. But with the way, I'll leave it like this for today, but the way I kind of like using it, I just like having it next to me somewhere, like just on the table, and I'll just like toss my needle at it. But for tonight, we'll keep it up there. But they finally came, you guys, so I'm just working on counting them, and we'll get a listing up. So There is already a listing up for the needle minders. It's just for the one color, the tan color, like that. But we're gonna put all the colors. We're gonna put all the colors under the same listing. So if you go to that listing and not type in, but there's like a add me to the wish list sort of thing. If you type your email into that, then you'll be notified like right away when we update the listing and update the quantity. So you'll know before we announce it or everything, because you'll actually see it being updated via email. So I do recommend, if you want to grab one of those, I do recommend signing up for that. Oh, Kathy says, hello everyone, I received my free mystery gift. Thanks, Alyssa. Oh, that makes me so happy. That's awesome. Oh, Caitlin says, started the squirrel. Oh, but your fur assistant is now laying on top of your stitch guide and floss. Oh. That's funny. Is it what type of fur assistant? All right, you guys, so I think I'm going to just start with, well, I think I'm going to start with the furthest thing back on the squirrel, and in this case, it's the tail. So I usually try and do the furthest thing back first, because then when I stitch the things that are more in front, it'll look like those stitches are kind of going over the top. So like if this tail is behind like his ear, and I stitch like this part of the tail, when I stitch the ear part, that stitch is going to feel in front of where this tail connects, so that makes sense. So that's kind of why I want to start with the tail. So I'm going to, let's just start up here. I'm going to do that away knot. So I'm going to actually go in from front to back. I did tie a knot at the end. And I'm going about 4 inches or so away from my starting point. And these are all going to be back stitches around the edge here, and then in here we'll be doing our fly stitches, which are basically lazy daisy stitches with the end open instead of like in the same hole, but we'll get to that. So all right, back stitch. So first of all, this right here is my reserve floss for later. So I don't like tying knots on the back of my piece, so I basically reserve a piece to weave in to the backs of the stitches later, and I do that by having an away knot, which is a knot that's like away from where I'm starting with enough thread on reserve that I can weave it in later. So that's how I like to start stitching when I don't have anything else on any other stitches to weave into the backs at the beginning here. All right, so my first stitch, I came up a little bit away from the starting point, and I'm going back towards the starting point. So I'm doing kind of tiny stitches here, just because it is around a tight curve. But they'll get a little bit bigger as we do all these other curves. So getting the easy stuff done first, just the back stitches. And then we will move on, I think we'll do the fly stitches of his tail. Yeah, and then the stem stitches for the leaves and stem. But we could do some of those lazy daisies and stuff today. I just kind of, what I'm trying to do is get some stitches on the board here that are easy to weave into the backs. So like back stitches, there's like a lot happening on the back, so there's a lot to weave in. When I'm finished with my thread, compared to lazy daisies, there's not as much to weave in. So I kind of like some areas done first before doing stitches like that. You guys, we are supposed to have we're in a heat warning. It's crazy how we go from like snow to 100-degree weather in like a couple weeks, I feel like. But we're in a heat advisory for tomorrow, or a heat warning actually. So tomorrow from like 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. is the heat warning, and it could be up to like 103 degrees with like full freaking humidity for sure tomorrow. So that'll be fun. And it just so happens that we have scheduled for we're gonna get a split. What are those called? Those things that you put in the wall that are do air conditioning and heat. And I think they might filter air too. I don't quite remember. A something split. What are those called? Anyway, we finally decided to splurge and get ourselves one of those, for the bedroom, because our bedroom's in the attic, and it's so hot up there, and then it's so freaking freezing up there too in winter. So we have just like, we didn't put them in yet, but we have an window air conditioner that doesn't do much and is super loud, and a heater up there for winter. And yeah, anyway, so this is going to be a huge improvement, and the one thing is they haven't confirmed, even though they're scheduled for tomorrow, so we're hoping that they just come. But we're getting some furnace work too the same day to hopefully filter the air. A mini split, that's it, Carla, that's it, a mini split. But yeah, so we happen to be getting, hopefully, theoretically, one of those put in tomorrow, so that would be freaking fabulous timing if we can use that tomorrow night, because otherwise we'll probably have to sleep downstairs, because if it's 100 degrees outside, then it's gonna be like 120 in the attic. A mini split, exactly, Allie. A split unit, yeah, they're called split units or mini splits, right? But mini split is what John keeps calling it. So that's what I got in my head. Oh, Caitlin says we had our heat warning today. Oh, but you have another one tomorrow. Oh my god. Yeah. It was humid today. Like, it was weird humid. Like, I don't know. I feel like I was having anxiety a little bit, but I feel like it was caused by the humidity. Like, it was tricking myself into feeling anxious a little bit. I think it was just the humidity, so I'm sure it's going to be way freaking worse tomorrow. Ugh. So I hope the mini split people actually come. We're scheduled, but you never know. Ugh. It's been a while since we've had heat like that, so it'll be interesting. Ugh. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just like, oh my god, it's gonna be the worst. Oh, Carla says 96 in Maryland, today in Maryland. My son just moved to St. Michael, Minnesota. Oh, he'll be surprised with 100 in mid-June. Yeah, you're right. It's just mid-June still too. I keep forgetting that part of it. Yeah, it's not even like August yet. Oh, Kelly says our heat index today was 108. Oh my god. Yep. The crazy thing is we're in Minnesota, so people don't usually think of Minnesota as getting up to that heat, but it definitely can. So I guess we'll see how many times this year it gets up to like past 100s. The trick in Minnesota though is we got the super high humidity too. Ugh. It's gonna be hard to breathe tomorrow. Like, literally, I think. I'll just close all the windows tonight or something, or tomorrow morning. That's no fun though either. Alright, we are almost around the top of his little floofy tail. Oh, where in Minnesota? I'm in the Minneapolis area. I'm just outside the city, technically sort of inside the city yet. Aki Mom. Ugh, yeah, Gretchen for sure. My god, I feel like that was super Minnesotan just then. Oh, for sure. Oh, god. Oh, for sure. are almost done with floss number 1. I feel like we got a little smaller piece than I usually get, just by a couple inches. Felt small. So I'll probably be, tomorrow night when I'm here, I'll probably be in a tank top with like sweat running down my face. We'll see. Oh, thanks, Gretchen. Gretchen says I have a great accent. It gets a little exaggerated when I'm in Wisconsin. I feel like. Oh, man. Oh, Gretchen says it's like a sauna in Atlanta. Ugh, I can imagine. Do any of you guys know who Charlie Barons is? Some of you Midwest people might know, but he is a comedian in Wisconsin. I actually think he's in LA now-ish, but like he's from Wisconsin. And he does these YouTube shows and stuff, and you know, now he's on TikTok and everywhere else too. But he's super popular in Wisconsin. But anyway, he has this show called the Manitowoc Minute, and Manitowoc's a city, but it's like Manitowoc Minute, and it's just a whole pile of just like Wisconsin, Midwest jokes, and not even jokes, it's just like every phrase will be super Wisconsin-y or super Minnesota-y, and I feel like my accent gets like more pronounced when we're talking about Charlie Barron's stuff, or I notice more Wisconsin Midwest phrases after watching that show, and I don't know, it's funny. So if anyone's in the Midwest, I think you'd relate to Charlie Barron's. All right, one more stitch. Yeah, one more. All right, and then we'll weave in this end, and then we'll take care of that away knot that we started with, our reserve thread that's on the back here. So, all right, here's the back of our piece so far, and I'm going to just weave in my thread in the backs of stitches that already exist. I'm going to try and get different stitches each time I go back and forth, and I'm going to go back and forth 3 times. All right, there's 3, and I'll just plop my needle on the back of my needle minder since I'm back here right now. And snip. And by weaving it in 3 times, you can actually like snip really close to your stitches too. So that means you're not going to have like all those little tufts of thread on the back either, which is nice. All right, we'll get you around to the front now. All right, let's chop our away knot. Careful not to cut the fabric. So that can be tossed, and then what we've basically done is released that thread that we reserved, and now we can weave in that end as well. And we should not have to do this again as long as we have stitches in the area that we can weave in. So like when I start up when I start up where I left off, I'm just going to weave into these stitches and then start. The only reason I would do an away knot again is if I'm starting in an area that has no stitches yet. Like maybe when I do the text, the lilac text, I might start fresh with a new away knot there, but we'll see. Okay, and I'm just going to grab my other thread right away, and we'll weave it into the back where I left off. Then we can flip back around to the front. Oh gosh, Debbie says it's raining in Alberta. Oh, and Sylvia says in the Yukon Territory it's raining, and it's raining in Alberta as well. And we have flood warnings for Calgary. Ugh, gosh. Stay safe. That's kind of scary always. Oh, Amy says my accent comes out when I go home to Vermont. I that's yes, it gets exaggerated for sure when I go home, and it's just kind of fun. Like I feel like you can just let it out then too, because you hear it more, and it's just fun. All right, let's see. So what would be a strategy here? I was thinking originally that I'd do all these stitches and then I'd come up and do these fly stitches, but then if I end up there and I have like a bunch of thread left over, this is kind of a, like from here to like over here or wherever is kind of a big jump. Yeah, we're gonna do it anyway. Let's just continue. Let's finish this tail, the outside of the tail, and then we'll come back up and do these little fly stitches. Oh, what's the magnet for TS? It is a needle minder. So the idea is, and you can do this with any magnet really, and there's just piles of needle minders. We just got our ones, and we're gonna put them in stock or like tomorrow or Wednesday. But it's just to hold your needle when you're not working on it. So like if I'm cutting some thread or if I'm putzing around here, I'll just like, you can just like toss it at it because it's a magnet, and it'll just, you won't lose your needle basically is the idea. So because instead of like setting your needle on the ground somewhere. So when you see like on Facebook or TikTok or wherever someone stitching and they have like a cute little character or like some little dude up here or on the side or whatever, that you're like, why do they have like a smiling cupcake over there? It's most likely a needle minder, and it's basically it can be anything fun on the front. This one happens to be like a metal pin almost, and then it'll have a magnet on the back, and then also a second magnet to go on the back of your fabric. And it's just so when I'm not using my needle, sometimes people stitch with more than one needle, like for different colors, so that can be like on reserve with the other thread. I think of it as needle storage and needle not losing it on my table while I work. So that's the deal, yo. I'm hoping to make a pile more. We just did a little poll. Oh, I gotta look at what one for that. I think we did a little poll on if I turn more little penguin and fish animals. So like if I turned, some little dudes like this, or like the squirrel, some penguin and fish style characters, if we turn some of those into some needle minders. I'd like to do like small ones that are like the size of the penguin, so we can have like our big penguin and fish one and then like some cute small ones. I want to do a couple animals, and I want to do like some fun sayings that we say here and stuff like 80%, make it 80% good, and I don't know. We'll have to take a little poll on that too. But I think the koalas were doing well, and the hedgehog for possible needle minders. Both of those would be really fun. I really like the idea of the koala. I'm not sure I would have thought of that one without a bunch of people saying that they'd want that one. And now I'm super excited about it. So that'll probably be one, but we'll see. And I definitely want to do the hedgehog. I don't know how many we'll do, but I'm excited about them. Oh, thanks, Cheryl. Yeah, so this is the new one. So the one that we had earlier was, these are all full of needles, they're all going to stab me, but was this tan one. And we got a couple more made, and they finally came. I ordered them like forever ago, and they're finally here, and I'm just like counting them and stuff, and then we'll get them up in the shop, which means make sure to get, like, if you go to the shop, I said this earlier, but if you go to the shop and you can just do a search in the search bar for a needle minder, it'll pop up. This one will pop up. We're going to actually list all of them in the same listing. So if you go to the listing for this one, it'll say sold out, but there'll be a button that says like something like, I don't know, put your email here for, letting us know when it's available. A short version of that phrase. And what will happen is the moment we put an inventory number in our back end, it will automatically send anyone on that list an email. So like just as we're listing it, you'll get an email that it's available. So you'll see it before we talk about it on like before we send out a newsletter. Basically, is what I'm saying. So anyway, so we got our original one, which is the tan, and then we got a red version and a white version. So these are like the penguin and fish swag versions of our needle minders. And I think I stole my needle onto that needle minder, but it's sticking up from here. So that would have been a good time to go like this, finish my stitch and do that, but oh well. But yeah, so that's the best way to be notified, because then you'll be notified first. Oh, Amy says, I vote the newt. Oh my god, that would be so cute as a needle minder. Oh, I might have to do a newt needle minder. That's one of my favorite ones. He's just so squiggly. That's going to be our letter N when we get that far in our ABC, is the newt. Oh, the crafty kitty would be cute. Ugh, yeah, I should definitely do that one. Gotta have a kitty needle minder. Oh dang, I'm gonna just like expand the old needle minder collection. They're just fun. If something makes you that little extra bit happy while you're stitching, then it's doing its job. For sure. Ooh, sloth! That would be cute. Oh my gosh, how am I gonna decide? I'm gonna have to look at that poll that we did, or maybe we just start with a few and then we just keep adding new animals. That'd be fun too. All right, we are almost done with these back stitches for the tail. So the goal is still to finish this by Friday. So if anyone's new, I'm here at 8:30 p.m. Central Time every evening, Monday through Friday. And I'm here for about an hour, so 8:30 to 9:30 Central Time. And we work on different projects each week. And the third week of the month, which I'm considering this, it's kind of like the second and a half week, but it's the embroidery of the month. So the Lilac, this little dude, here's the finished version. He is our embroidery of the month this month. It comes with, every time we have an embroidery of the month, we have a little freebie, and this month's freebie is our little tulip post-it note set. Can't ever have enough post-it notes, I don't think. So I'm happy about how that turned out. I think that those are our first post-its. Yeah, so that comes with the kit. All right, so oh yeah, and then the ABCs, we're doing the first week and the second week of the month. All right, let's do these fly stitches. So the fly stitches here, they're basically single chain stitches, but instead of the two lines at the bottom here being together, they're separated. So we're gonna come up. So you can see they're like little I don't know if you guys can tell, but they're little kind of arcs. So I'm gonna come at the bottom of one side of the arc. They're like little rainbows, basically. I'm gonna come up on one side of the rainbow, and then we're gonna just make my floss is gonna go in the direction of the rainbow, so it's gonna go all the way above, and then I'm gonna go back into at the bottom on the other side though. So for a single chain stitch, we would go back in the exact same hole. For a fly stitch, we are not going back in the same hole. We're going a little bit over. So there we go. And I'm going to pull through a little bit, and then I'm going to come up at like the apex of that arc. And my thread should be going up and around still. So now I'm going to pull through, and my thread should catch that arc. There we go. And depending on how tight you pull this, if you pull it really tight, it's going to look like pointy. But if I don't pull it very tight, then it's going to have this arc. So it's however you want it to look. I want to try and keep these arcs. So I'm not going to pull this super duper tight. And then I'm going to tack it down with a teeny tiny stitch right on the other side of that arc. And there we go. A nice little loose fly stitch there. Little extra floof. I think I'm going to do another one here. For that sheep, our new sheep, where'd he go? Yeah, our sheep farm animal guy here. I think all of his little bloops are cute little fly stitches like this. All right, down and back, up at the apex. I'm going to keep it loose and tack it down. So you can do the sewing method of this as well. That's where you go in and out at the same time. And so you go in and out, and then you can actually put the thread behind your needle there. And same deal. Caitlin, I hate to say this, but I'm not sure what you're referencing. For me, Monty Python, for me, is like the knights who say knee, and that rabbit that had like vampire teeth. I feel like I saw that like so long ago. And they require shrubbery. I always like that. We require shrubbery. I don't remember a newt though. So all I've seen is like the Holy Grail. We require shrubbery. A shrubbery, I think. I think I saw that on Netflix. Or maybe it was Disney Plus. I feel like it's showing up in something, and I'm gonna have to watch it again. We watched it a bunch when we were little. I'm surprised I don't remember more. I'm sure it'll all like the clippity claps with the oh my god, what do you call those things? I just want to say cantaloupe, but that's not what they are. What am I thinking of? Coconuts. Oh my god, coconuts. After I said cantaloupe, I'm like, oh my god, I'm never gonna get it. I was just thinking cantaloupe and then cucumber, knowing both of those were way wrong, but I'm so close. So, coconuts it is. Alrighty, you guys. We just have a couple more of these dudes left. Let's do this one up here first. You'll have to look it up. It's a funny accuse. Oh wait, I gotta see the newt thing. I gotta scroll up on my comments here. Okay, my homework is to go and rewatch Monty Python. Monty Python and the Holy Grail? Accused of being a witch, he says she turned me into a newt. And then he says I got better. Oh, God. It's all those just like dry jokes. We very much like the knights who say knee. That was me and my brothers, I think. We like the knights who say knee. I think that was our most memorable bit. Oh yeah, and then that poor knight who got all his limbs cut off. That always kind of freaked me out. Oh, Squee! I appreciate that. I feel like I'm kind of brushing over things tonight, which, I don't know, maybe it's the humidity. But I can definitely go slower and talk through it more. For sure. I know I'm just kind of speeding through things a little bit tonight. But yeah, so actually, the Lazy Daisies are pretty much the exact same thing we're doing here with these fly stitches, except for how these are like two different starting points for the rainbow. For these, they actually are the same point. So we're going to come up and go down in the exact same point instead of like coming down in a different, like a little ways away. We're actually just coming right back into the exact same hole there. So that's the difference between basically a single chain stitch, which is a lazy daisy stitch. A lazy daisy stitch is a bunch of single chain stitches just in a circle. And this is basically a single chain stitch, but with the bottom apart. So that's the really the only difference between what we just did and the lazy daisies. And really, we could do a few of those next. With the time that we have left tonight. That might be kind of fun. Why don't we just do that? So let's throw my needle at the needle minder. Oh, I suppose I didn't need to... I was intending to do a few more stitches with that, but we were pretty much at the end of that thread. So we're good. So, all right, let's do some of these. So let's choose our color. We have 3 colors for the Lazy Daisy stitches, so it'll be these 3 guys. Well, I'm kind of thinking let's start with the light purple, which is our lilac season, so that fits with this design. Just because it looks like there's the most of that color, so we can fill it in with a bunch of that color first, and then we'll go back and do these other ones. Let's actually do the wood violet last, because all of our French knots that are in here are all the wood violet. So we could do the wood violet, which is this dark purple. We could do the dark purple with the French knots. Or we could do the lazy daisies and the French knots kind of at the same time. Yeah, so let's do that. Okay. So I'm starting with the light purple, which is the lilac season. So let's just get some floss of that. So now, since I don't really have any stitches to weave into, I will start with an away knot again, like how we started at the beginning here. I still do like that way of starting a piece of thread, so you don't have to tie a knot. All right, I'm cutting my 24 inches or so. These scissors were actually designed to match this color floss. So this is our lilac season scissors with the lilac season floss. Let's get our 3 strands out of our 6-strand embroidery floss again. So again, this is 6 strands. That's how it comes typically with like your DMC. This is our penguin and fish floss, our pocket skeins floss, but it's the same as like with DMC 6-strand embroidery floss, which is what you'll typically see, like, you know, the aisle filled with, like at Joann's or something, is DMC 6-strand embroidery floss. It's the ones within all those trays. So it's compiled of 6 strands. If you bop the top of them like this, you can see them separate. They're meant to easily separate. And that's because we have choices on how many strands of floss we can stitch with. So we can stitch with any number of strands. I'll just show you guys this again. I like pulling this out. Here's our little floss thickness guide. So if we look through like 1 through 6 here, this is all the back stitch, but this is like what 1 strand of floss looks like versus like all the strands. So 6 strands of floss. So the 6 strands is if we wouldn't separate, we just cut it from our skein and start using it, would be the 6 strands. So that's how thick our stitches would be versus, you know, 1 strand. If we pulled out, it would be like this really thin line. You can get the effect of what it would look like in a design here. The floss is 6 strands and thickness guide is a single strand. I am using for this design 3 strands. I think it's a nice medium-sized line. Sometimes if you use all 6, it's difficult to actually thread the needle and it's difficult to pull through the thread. So typically in design, you'll see them split. A lot of times it'll be 2 strands. If you're thread painting, a lot of times it's 1 strand. I'm using 3. That's kind of my go-to. So to take the strands out, I think the easiest way is to do it this way, where you isolate one thread. So I'm just bopping it on the top just so I can see all the strands. And I'm just going to kind of wheedle one out of here. So let's just try and grab one. Come on, guy. There we go. So I got one isolated, and I'm holding it, the floss in between my fingers like that, and I'm just going to pull that one. You can only do it one at a time. And the rest of the floss is going to bunch up like crazy, but it will release once I get that strand out, and then I just like running my fingers through the remaining, and then I'll isolate another, and it really does go fast. So like, zoop, I mean, that's how fast. And it always has a sound effect with it. And last one, zoop. So those are our 3 strands, and then we also have our remaining 3 strands that we can use later. Just put them in my strawberry tray. Then you just have to kind of line up the ends. It doesn't have to be perfect because you can always trim the ends. And then I just run my hand right through there. And we got our 3 strands all ready to go again. Okay, threading the needle. I'll run through how I like threading the needle again too. I like using the pinch method. So first of all, I'm just going to snip my ends just so they're all nice and even. Remove my little bits there. And, so I'll hold my thread like so, and then I'll actually pull it down so it's in between the pads of my fingers there. And I'll really squish it. It'll kind of flatten it out. And I make like this pinching motion. This is called the pinch method. So I'll make this pinching motion, and then as I unpinch, the moment I can see just a sliver of that floss, I'll take my needle and I'll place the eye of the needle over that sliver and just kind of push down in between my fingers, and then I'll just keep opening it, and it kind of forces the thread through the needle there, and then I just kind of grab it with my finger. And that's the pinch method. That's my favorite way of threading a needle there. Okay, let's tie a knot in this end, and we will do that, the away knot to start this out. And I think, let's work from the top down, why not? So I'm using my stitch guide right here, my color guide, so I'm going to look at here just to see which one's which. So I'm just going to do the light purple ones for now. So my first one is right here. I'm going to do the away knot again, so I'm just going to go about 3-4 inches away from where I want to start, and kind of out of the way where I'm going to stitch. So over here is out of the way. And again, this is just to reserve, you can see it's just to reserve a piece of floss like this so we can later weave it in the ends, like how we wove in the ends here. That way we don't have knots on the back. Not that that's all that important, but I always catch my thread on knots if I have it on the back. And like the part that I really hate is like these little floofs on the end of the knots. I hate when I pull those to the front. Ugh, I hate that so much. So I like stitching without the knots if I can. And it just, by design, then it keeps me having a really nice back typically as well. All right, so Lazy Daisy. Is the tray on your side? Our little strawberry trays, they are, and we are getting a few more in stock too. So I think we have the pink colors yet. Hold on here. All right. So yes, we do have those on our site too. We have a few left of those. All right, and so this is our first one. So it's going to be, it should look very similar to what we did here. So I'm going to come up. Let's do this top little, we're going to do each one of these individually. Each one of these little arcs, petals, let's call them petals. Each of these petals. So I'm going to start, we'll do this top petal first. So I'm going to come up right in the middle here, right at where all the points meet. And same thing, I'm going to have my thread kind of arc around so it's like the same shape as the arc, like the teardrop shape here of the petal. So I'm just going to, like, with my thumb, I'm just going to hold it up there. I always like having my thumb there because I like keeping this piece kind of tight and then this loose, but we're having like that upward arc because our teardrop is that upward arc. And then, now here's where it differs from our fly stitch. I'm going to go right back in the exact same hole. right like that. And we're going to go like halfway, or just like a little bit, so my needle's just like, you know, a couple inches or so through. And then I'm going to come up at the apex of that arc. So again, it'll look as if, because I did this arc first with my thread, we should be coming up within this circle of thread that we made. So I'm going to pull through now, and my thread that I'm pulling, this loop should get caught on it, like so. And again, I don't want to pull super tight. I want this kind of be loose or lazy. I remember someone saying like, oh, it's like you're let it be lazy, because it's a lazy daisy stitch. So if I pull this really tight, which I can do, it's gonna end up looking like just two straight stitches that are right next to each other. Whereas if I leave it a little loose, like if I don't pull it all the way tight, kind of goofed it up there, it's going to have like just a gentler arc. You're going to feel that teardrop shape a little bit more. And then the last bit is we have to tack it down. So I'm putting a tiny little stitch just right on the other side of that arc. Hopefully you can see that. So it's not in the same hole, but it's just right on the other side of the arc. So now we basically tacked down our loop. So that's it. So that's basically a single chain stitch. And a lazy daisy stitch is just a whole bunch of single chain stitches that go around a center point. Oh yes, so are you talking about these strawberry trays? They are in the shop. I think I have a couple left. And what's cute, I just love that they have this little container at the top. Sometimes I store stuff in there, but when I'm working on projects, I just kind of like it to be garbage, and I feel like it keeps my space like super duper clean. All right, so we're going to continue the lazy daisy stitch, and I'm just going to do the next petal. Let's just do this one over here. So I'm going to come up in the middle again. It doesn't have to be the exact same hole as the other one, but I'm going to try and do that. So now my arc is going this way, so I'm going to hold this with my thumb again, and my thread is going to go around that way, and then I'm going to go back in the hole, right in the same spot that I came out of, and then pull the thread through a little bit, and then come up at the apex of that arc, so just like the biggest part of that teardrop shape. I'm in the middle of my little circle of thread that I made here, and I'm going to catch that loop, let it be lazy, and then just tack it down on the other side with a little anchor stitch. And there we go. You can reshape them a little bit too if you need to. There, that looks better. So we got two more on that one. And you can just rotate, like sometimes I'll rotate my piece just so it's more comfortable. Like I kind of like when my arc goes above, that feels more comfortable than me than below. So I'll rotate my hoop in my hand a bunch when I do these. So there's our third, tack it down, and our fourth little flower. We'll do one in the down position. There we go. So a lot of times for a lazy daisy stitch, they'll tie a little knot, or they'll do a little French knot right in the center, because then it looks like a cute little flower. But I didn't do that for these because the lilacs didn't seem to be like that. So and all of these are like four petaled little flowers, because that's how lilacs were as well. So hold on a sec here. Yeah. So in this case, I'm only doing 4 petals, and I'm not putting that knot in the center, just so it's more lilac-y. But oftentimes, like even in my instructions here, here we have 6, and you can see a little dot in the center there. That's where you would put like a little French knot. Oh, here, kind of like our little sheepy here. So our sheep design, we have 5 petals, and then we did a little pink French knot right in the middle. So that looks super cute. But again, not what our lilacs look like. All right, let's do another one. So this one right underneath it is this purple color. So again, I'm just kind of, I like grabbing it with my thumb. Keeping this tight like this, when I pull my needle through, it helps. Like if I wouldn't have my thumb there, if I wouldn't have my thumb there, by pulling the needle through, it's going to want to like kind of pull this back through too. But if I have my thumb kind of holding it there, then that kind of holds it taut. It doesn't go back down. Like right now, it would want to like pull down with this other thread, but because I'm holding it with my thumb, it's not. All right, coming up in my loop. Leaving it lazy. There we go. First one, and let's get these other ones. So there is another way to do this. So this might have been one of the ways that you've seen. So I'm doing the stabbing method of embroidery right now, where I come up, straight up, pull my thread all the way through, and then pull my thread all the way back. That's called the stabbing method, versus the sewing method, which I'll show you right now. And that's where you go in and out of the same, here, let me get set up here. So I'm going to make my arc here. So the sewing method is when I go in, and now instead of coming through and going back up, I'm going to come up in the same motions for the next stitch. So I'm going down for this part of the stitch, and I'm coming up for this part of the stitch at the top of that arc, like so. And then I can pull through in one motion. So I'm kind of combining two steps in one. So it actually goes pretty quickly stitching that way. I find that I'm not always as accurate doing it like that, but here, let's do another one. Oh, Amy says I love the freebies for my order. Yay! That makes me happy. Oh, that's awesome. All right, let's, what's the next one here? Let's do this guy, this one right here. So let's do this one all with the sewing method. So if you're using the sewing method, it is easier to do with the fabric and you're a little looser in the hoop. All right, let's do my little arc again. And we're gonna go in and out in the same motion. And you can kind of tuck the thread underneath like that, underneath your needle, and then pull through. Gotta get your little anchor stitch. All right, let's do another one using the sewing method. So coming up, I still like doing a little arc in and out in the same motion. And our little anchor stitch. So you'll see me doing like a combo of both of these. So back to the stabbing method, I'm gonna go down, all the way down, and then up. Not in the same motion, like I'm doing those two separate motions. Ooh, I'm kind of excited that we got some of these lazy daisies going. This is, to me, the exciting part of this design is getting to do all these lazy daisy stitches. They're so fun. There we go. I'm going to tighten up my hoop again a little bit again. Ooh, and let's get an anchor stitch. So I think we'll go, I mean, I have quite a bit of thread left, but lazy daisies do kind of eat up floss really quickly. So I think I'm just going to go tonight, since it's just about 9:30 now, I'm going to go till I'm done with this floss, which actually I'm feeling like won't take long at all. Lazy daisies chew up all the floss, that's for sure. So this is going to be my last reminder that $20 in the shop if you order during my live here. And I will include a mystery gift for free. You don't need to add it to your cart, and you don't need to put in a code or anything. I'm just going to see who orders during this time. And I'll throw it in. Oh, Sheila says I placed an order. Oh, you wish the needle minder. Oh, thanks for the order. I appreciate that a ton. You wish the needle minder had been available. So it'll be, I'm thinking by Wednesday at the latest. Oh, I'm just remembering I got to edit the photos for it too. So I got to edit the photos and update the inventory for it. But like I said, the best way to be notified of that, of when they're like live for real, when they're available, is to under the current Needleminder listing, which is this guy. So if you just do a search on Penguin and Fish for Needleminder, there will be it'll say sold out, but there will be a like email, notify me this when it's available again. One of those buttons. If you put your email into that, then when we update the inventory on it, like so when we update the listing, it will like an email will be like auto generated from us updating the listing, and it will go to you. So the moment the listing's new, you'll see it. So that'll be like, for sure before we announce that they're available. And you guys here are the first ones seeing it. So I haven't posted it anywhere else. So just everyone on the live here knows that they are in. And like I said, I just need to edit the photos for them for the listing and update the inventory, and they will be good to go. I think they're so cute in their little packaging bits too. Okay, this is gonna be my last little. I'm like pushing it here. This is gonna be my last Lazy Daisy stitch, but they're like little teeny ones here. But I'm almost out of floss, and these get annoying when you don't have enough floss to do them. Ugh, yeah, annoying. Last little stitch. There we are. So let's weave in these ends. Ugh, look how cute those are. So fun. Let's weave in those ends, and then I'll weave in this away knot thing. So see, you can tell, like, they're not, the stitches are a bit different, the backs of them, than the back stitches. So there's like tons of back stitches on the back here to weave into, and they're a little bit weirder and a little bit harder to weave in on Lazy Daisy stitches, but I'm still going to do just like back and forth 3 times, and it should do the job. But that's why I usually like doing the back stitches first, because then if I can weave into the backs of those, if they're available, that's always nice. I love that you can just like throw your needle at the magnets. I mean, that makes me happy. All right. Get that little knot. I suppose I can cut this from the back too, but I always like cutting it from the front. All right. And we'll just thread that again. I'm going to use that pinch method. Zoop. Great. And we'll weave in. Ugh, this one's going to be a little tricky. It's harder to weave into when you're close to the hoop, but we're gonna get it. One, as long as I can grab as many stitches as I can. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3. Oops. A little thread got lost in there. There we go. Let's just put it on the front. All right, and there is our progress for the night. Ooh, I'm feeling good. I'm really happy that we did do some of that, some of those little florals up there, little lilac-y buds or what have you. All right, and the tail's done, so I think tomorrow let's finish up. Maybe we'll just like keep going back and forth on this. That's not how I usually work, but it was kind of fun to do tonight. So maybe tomorrow let's use up some floss on this squirrel, and then let's go back and do a pile more of these Lazy Daisies. So we'll just kind of switch back and forth. I think that'd be a fun way to do this, I think. Cool. All right, you guys. So that's our progress for tonight. We'll be working on this through Friday, I'm thinking. So again, I'll leave the mystery gift thing open for a few minutes after we're done with the live here. So again, that's spend $20 or more in the shop, and I will throw in a mystery gift for free. You don't need to put it in your cart. If you do put it in your cart, I'll just refund you for it. So if you've been putting it in your cart, you'll have received a refund. I don't always have it send an email, but on your statement it'll show as a refund. But yeah, so $20 in the shop, free mystery gift. No code or anything necessary. So thanks again, everyone. I appreciate it, and thanks for checking out our new little farm animals. And yeah, so keep your eyes open for those needle minders. It'll be this week. I suspect by Wednesday for sure. Maybe we can get it by tomorrow. I don't know. So sign up for that little listing, that little let us know when it's available in the listing, and you'll get the email exactly when we update the inventory for that before we announce it to everyone else. So I recommend doing that. All right, everyone. It's nice seeing you again. Hope you all had a lovely weekend, and I will see you tomorrow, Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully it's not 1,100,000 degrees in here. All right. Have a lovely evening. Good night.